everybody, welcome back to my channel. So for you guys today, we are going to be doing a very in-depth, thorough review of the new Skin by Kim Classic Matte Eyeshadow Palette. If you guys don't know, hey, my name is Shanna. I loved KKW Beauty when it was a brand. I loved it. At least their eyeshadows and like their lip products. I never really tried the concealers or anything like that. But basically, I have something from every single product line that they had. I have most of the eyeshadow palettes still. I have the lipsticks, the lip liners, the bronzers, the blushes, and a highlighter. So, what I'm trying to say is we're going to be doing like this. I'm going to be able to tell you whether or not this is the same KKW Beauty type products that we had before, or if this is new and actually improved. So, today, we're going to be discussing this, the lip liners, and the lipsticks. The first thing I want to talk about is the packaging on this. This is a cardboard packaging. This palette retails for $50. Please ignore my dog. It is the exact same type of packaging, minus like the glossy finish, as her old palettes. Now, this is the KKW Cocoa Matte palette. This is what mine looks like on the inside. It's very used, you can see. These are both cardboard. They both have mirrors. This new palette is $50. This one was $45. Now, right now, if I'm not mistaken, there are going to be pictures popping up here, here, and here to show you guys swatches of everything. And then after that pops up, there's also going to be an up-close little clip video showing you guys what all the swatches look like compared to each other. Okay, so this is the KKW Cocoa Matte palette. It is over 5 years old at this point. On this right hand side, or my right, are the swatches from that palette. I only swatched each thing once without running my hand back over it and my finger back over it. Considering how old the palette is, I think the pigmentation is still very, very good. And then this is the new Skin by Kim eyeshadow palette with the 12 shades. It is brand new. These are those swatches. Again, only once did I go over it. So there's that. And then this is what the palette looks like up close. My busted, dusted, crusted, trusty palette. I love this thing, I really do. So, now that you guys have seen the swatches and everything, there are some things I want to discuss. Color story wise, if you have this palette and you're still okay with using it on your eyes, I personally don't think that you need this one. Not because this one is bad. I personally think it's worth, so far, what I've seen with it. I haven't tested it out on my eyes yet. Yeah. Sorry, I was talking to my dog. This is worth it to me so far. Like I said, I haven't tested it out on my eyes. Something I've noticed thus far, even with just swatching it, this is a much more powdery formula than what this one was. I have to throw my dog's toy. Hold on. This is a much more powdery formula than what this one was. This one, and you guys can search me reviewing this palette on my channel. It's from like 5 years ago. This palette is old. This one is much more powdery. The formula is softer than what I remember this one being. Even now, this one is softer than what this one is currently. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to do an eye look with this just to show you guys how it plays out and how it blends on the eyes, and we're gonna do like thoughts on it thoroughly. I had to throw the dog away again though. So for the eyes, I'm gonna prep it the same way I always do my eyeshadow. I'm just going to use some concealer. This one is the Vive one. It is a little bit of a thicker concealer. What I'm not going to do, you guys, is do a direct, like, side-by-side of this palette versus this one. If they were brand new, if this one was brand new, I would consider it, but considering this palette is 5 years old, it's not going to perform the same as what it would have if it was a brand new palette. Baby Bear, you and I are going to fight, my dude. But, so, we're just going to do a comparison. Or not a comparison, we're just going to do an eye look. So I'm going to smooth out the concealer on my eyelids. Take it all the way up to my eyebrows like I usually do. Okay, now what I will do is, actually, let's do this. I'm going to take a bigger fluffy brush. Just kind of use my finger to tap that out a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This one's an alter ego brush. And I'm going to go into shade 3, which is this one right here. I'm going to use this as like my transition shade. So yes, this is much more powdery in the pan. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. It is much more powdery than what the KKW Beauty palette was or is. The shade isn't really going to show up super well on me because it is pretty fair. It's pretty close to my actual skin tone. And just to give you guys like an idea, this palette is being really washed out by my light right now. So it's not as light in real life as what you guys are seeing on video. Okay. So we have that transition shade on there. Now what I'm going to do is take... You just went outside, Baby Bear. No, it's after dark. You can go out to go potty, but you're not going out to run around. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take shade 6, which is this one right here. And I'm going to kind of put that into my crease, not above it. But I'm actually just going to tuck that one into my crease to add a little depth. This blends out super easily, super duper well. It's not giving me any trouble blending. It's not patchy. It's nice and even, which is really nice. Blend that kind of up into my eyebrow. Like that. Okay, let me do this eye. And so you can see that one. This is like really pretty so far, I'm not gonna lie to you. What I'm gonna do now is take the black shade that is in the palette, so shade 12, and mix it with shade 11, which is the darkest brown. That is one of the differences between this palette, the Skin by Kim, and the KKW one, is that this palette is all brown. It's all different shades of like really warm tone browns. This one has a white, a black, and a gray in it on top of all the warm tone browns. Okay, that's like a bigger difference if you guys are wondering. I'm not letting you outside. No. Do you want some eyeshadow? But yeah, I'm going to mix shade 12 and 11 together just to get like a darker kind of chocolatey brown, or a cooler tone. Maybe not chocolatey, but like a nice brown. Just like that. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other eye. I'm not worried about it being blended right now. I haven't really blended. I'm just placing the color and blending slightly. Like that. And then I'm gonna take another large fluffy brush and actually blend this shade. You're not going outside right now, Bear. Something to note is there is fallout with this palette onto your face. So you are going to need to do your eyes before you do your makeup. Otherwise, you're probably going to ruin it. But it's not like a horrible, crazy amount of fallout. Just like that. And then I'm going to quickly cut my crease with the concealer, and then we'll finish off the eye look so far. Okay, ignore like how bad my cut crease is. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a more like flat, dense packing brush, and I'm gonna go into shade 1, which is the white. And we're gonna see how pigmented this is. Pretty damn pigmented, holy shit. You could use that white as like an inner corner highlight if you wanted to. And then I'm going to take the big blending brush that we used earlier, and I'm just going to go back into like shade 6 and mix it, or shade 7, and mix it with 5. And just kind of blend out the edges a little bit. Just to give it a more diffused look as well. Okay, and then we're going to blend again. Okay, so I'm gonna go off camera, do the rest of my base really quick, and then we'll come back and finish off the face and then move on to the other products that I have from the line. But so far, I really like it because the formula is blendable, it's pigmented, but not too pigmented. The formula is really soft. So far, that's like the only drawback, is that you do get fallout. But honestly, who cares? Just do your eyeshadow before you do the rest of your face. It's not that big a deal. Okay, I finished off my face and the eyes. To smoke out my lower lash line, I use shades 6 and 7 in this palette. For my eyebrows, I use shade 9 and 12. So this one and this one in my eyebrows. Formula-wise, this palette is top-notch. It's soft, it's blendable, it's pigmented, but you can blend away the pigment to diffuse it really easily. Like, this is the type of palette that if you went in with this shade, you could do a whole look with just this shade. You could, excuse me, blend it out to make it really soft and then build up like your outer corner to make it really, really dark. You could do a whole look with just, you know, one of these darker shades. I think the palette, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. The mirror is nice and clear. The only thing that you might not like about it is if you get upset about like dirtiness. It's a cardboard palette. It's a soft matte palette. I like how it feels to me. I don't care. I don't mind a dirty palette because it means I use it. And I will use this palette quite a bit. Now, moving on to the lips. Again, there are going to be pictures of swatches here and here, I believe. But what I have from the lipstick is I bought shade 1 and I think, yeah, 1 and 15. I got the lightest shade and the darkest shade. So this one is the lightest shade. This one is the darkest shade. Now this shade, shade 15, is new. They never had in the KKW beauty line a shade that dark. Never. They had like nude 8, I think, was the deepest, and it wasn't that deep. This is the shade Honey 1, I believe, from the Honey Matte collection from KKW. Those two colors, this one's a little bit warmer, but these two colors are almost identical. So if you have this lipstick and you still like it, you don't need to buy this shade. Okay? Something else that's different with this lipstick formula, the old one, the one from KKW, is much thicker. It's like a deeper, more opaque formula. It's one swipe. Really one swipe. This one, you need two to get it up to full opacity. So take that for how it will. You will. The lip liner formula on this one, I can't really compare it. You guys are just going to have to take my word for it if you want to. The lip liner formula, I think, has also changed a little bit. It's still very creamy. Don't worry about that. It's still very, very creamy. It's just like a stiffer creaminess, if that makes any sense. Before, it was so creamy that the tips broke off whenever I went to use them. So I had to press very lightly. This one, let me show you. Well, maybe we'll do the darker one so you guys can actually see it. This one is still very creamy. It glides on, but it's not breaking, and I'm applying pressure. Not a lot of pressure, but more pressure than what I normally would. So there's the lip liner. This is a really lovely dark chocolate brown color. So with that, I'm going to go into shade 15 from the lipsticks. And you guys will see what I mean here pretty soon when I say it's sheer. That's one swipe. Three swipes and you can still see my lip color. Six swipes build it up to full opacity. So there's the lipstick. Now, with the lipstick, I'm straight up gonna say it. You can get very similar lip liners for cheaper. These are $22. If they had stayed $12 or $14, I would get it. I would understand. You know, inflation has happened even for these bigger companies. It's happened. These are not $22 good. They're good, but they're not $22 good. The lipstick. The formula, it's fine. It's okay. It's not my favorite. My favorite is her old one. I loved the colors for the old one. I loved the formula. I loved how matte it was. This, it transfers. This is going to transfer. The other ones didn't. At least not this bad. For $30 fucking dollars, this packaging should have been metal. You're paying almost like Dior, Tom Ford, Charlotte Tilbury pricing. This packaging should have been metal. It should have been metal and embossed. For $30 freaking dollars, absolutely not. I'm sorry, the formula's good. It's not $30 good. I don't know that I would buy another lipstick from her, this line, like the skin line, other than to maybe see color comparison, compare it to different colors. That might be the only reason I buy another lipstick or a lip liner, because they're not good enough for the type of money that she's charging. Okay. This palette, take my money all day long. Take it, because this palette slaps. It slaps so good in the best way possible, but not the lipsticks, not the lip liners, y'all. It's just, they're not worth it. This, if you're gonna get anything from the line, get this, okay? If you like a sheer lipstick, maybe you'd like it, but I don't think $30 for plastic packaging is worth it. I don't. And you guys can go watch any of my other KKW videos. I loved it. I loved the whole line. I loved the formulas. I loved it. Okay. This is the only thing out of this whole collection that's worth it, in my opinion. Okay. That's it. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I would very much greatly appreciate it. And let me know if there's anything else you guys want to see. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go eat now. Bye!